Hey everyone, it's Hot Alpha Female, and this week is Q&A week, so let's get started.
Hot Alpha Female. What?
Alright, so I got a couple of questions around this topic, and one was kind of talking about being direct, and the other one was about, like, my opinion on a particular pickup line called the Apocalypse Opener, which is an extremely direct way to pick up a woman. So I thought I'd just kind of like mush them together and talk about this. So first, the Apocalypse Opener. I'll leave a link for you guys down below so you can read the blog yourself that explains this whole opener. But basically, it's a very direct approach to a woman, where you go up to her, a woman standing by herself, say at a club or outside a club or whatever, and you go, "Hey, how are you going?" And she goes, "Yeah, I'm good." And you go, "Cool. What are you doing later?" And she goes, "I don't know." And you say to her, "Do you want to come home with me?" And just after you say this, you're silent. You're not laughing nervously, you're not trying to fill the silence with more words or weird mannerisms, or you're not trying to, try and think what she's thinking. You just stand there and you sit there presently and you just kind of wait for her to process and give you an answer. And apparently, the scariest part of this process is actually after you ask that question and being able to kind of hold in that, environment where she's processing and she's thinking, "Oh, am I going to say yes? Am I going to say no?" And apparently, the results of a woman making out with you, coming home with you, spending the rest of the night with you are very high when you use this particular pickup line. So, here's an example of very direct approach to a woman. My reader asked me, would this work? What were my thoughts on it? And, I read this blog post and I was really impressed. I'm also part of the same kind of approach that no one pickup line is going to work for everyone. And I've always said that the most important part of any pickup line or any way that you approach a woman is your delivery and who you're being and the kind of presence that you have when you're interacting with a woman. And I think this kind of opener is just another example of that, because if you said the very same things to her, but you weren't 100% committed when you asked that question, "Do you want to come home with me?" or you were laughing nervously, or you just started injecting all these other like, "Oh no, don't worry, I was only joking," and just kind of like backtracking yourself, it would not work. But if you can ask that question in a serious manner and hold while she's kind of processing, and she's like, "Dude, this guy just had the balls to ask me to come home with him. He doesn't know my name, he just met me, I'm at a club," like, she will process all of this, and it will either end up in, "Yeah, my boyfriend would be really pissed off if I went home with him, but, I really appreciate it," or like, "You know what, I think I might take up on that offer," just because it was so ballsy. And even if she, can't say yes because, she has a boyfriend or whatever, she will really appreciate an approach that is just so honest and so direct. And the reason why I love directness is because, one, your intentions are very clear from the beginning. There's no kind of darting around the edges. There's no, "Oh, what does he really want from me?" It's just like, "Dude, this is what I want." And so there's no leading on. An even better way to communicate with someone, because now you're having just like an honest interaction with them, as opposed to kind of just, pretending that you're actually interested in something else when you're really not. Now, if I was to go out and go ask 10 different girls, "Oh, what do you think of this, kind of approach?" I reckon there would be like a 50-50 split. Like, I reckon some girls would be like, "Oh my god, that is like so cool, I would totally jump his bones and rip off his pants right in the street." And some other girls will be like, "That's so stupid, I wouldn't do that." And there would probably be the same girls who are in the street making out with him. In theory, like, if you got girls to think about it, like, all different types of girls, they'll be like, "I totally wouldn't fall for that, but so many girls say that. They're like, oh, I wouldn't date a guy like that, or I would never tolerate behavior like that. And then like the next day they're like dating some guy who was exactly the opposite of, you know, or all the things that they said they wouldn't date. So just keep that in mind and be careful what like the typical woman will say about what she does and what she doesn't like. And most importantly, just go, if you are unsure, just go by a woman's actions. Her actions will always tell you where she is at with you and with her, this whole dating thing, and just like her whole perception of what's going on right now. So on being direct, I reckon it's best if you can be more direct than not, but you really have to work on your confidence. You really have to work on your delivery, and you really have to 100% commit and own anything that you say when you're being very direct, because if you have that little bit of hesitation, it's not going to work, and the woman is going to be able to sense that.
Hot alpha, female.